Wow! That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was so good. Okay, so I remember being in my college English class and the professor saying that poetry could be song. But he said it's selective, like Bob Dylan's music is song. And I remember thinking, that's subjective. Poetry can apply to lots of things. Now I get it.
Yeah, that's really cool, but can we just be quiet for just a second? Because speaking of professors talking about poetry being music.
Okay.
Guys. This question. Oh, this question, guys.
Okay.
I don't know. This question's really deep. Been thinking about it a lot lately. When I saw this, when they sent this in, I'm like, man. Whoa. Yeah. Sorry. Today's question, sitting by a viewer. Was the Civil War worth it? And they're just asking, right? And I think we should answer.
I mean, my gut reaction tells me immediately no.
Okay.
I don't think it was.
All right. I mean, yeah. I mean, from what I've read and just what people have talked about regarding the Civil War, I would probably have to agree. Yeah, maybe no, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, how important was it at the end of the day?
Yeah, I mean, Andrew.
Yeah, there's a lot of people from their specific vantage point.
Yeah.
I would say they feel that way, and that's understandable.
Yeah, Lily.
Yes, the Civil War was worth it. It's a complicated issue.
Yeah,
What's complicated about it?
Explain it.
I think that the Civil War was complicated. However, it set in motion the freeing of an entire race in our country.
Whoa,
What are you talking about? The movie Civil War, the A24 film?
It just came out last week.
Did it come out?
The A24 film, Civil War. From what I've read, it only has 2.7 stars on Google reviews.
No.
Yeah,
And people say like the ending wasn't all that great. So like, is it worth it to go see the Civil War movie? I would probably say probably not.
I mean, I think everyone agrees with that. It's not worth it. I thought that was kind of an open shut case. But Lily, you even stuck around kind of like thinking that we were talking about, you thought we were talking about the Civil War?
Chill out.
You want people to go to the theaters and waste their money?
Lily.
I don't even know how to feel about this.
I mean, if I'm getting this right, Andy, help me through this.
Yeah, I will.
It seems like Lily.
Yeah.
She is trying to make us feel bad about our feelings in cinema, but trying to make the rest of the world feel bad about things regarding war.
Yeah, absolutely. I think she has a really bad attitude to the whole thing.
So you guys heard it here. You heard it here first. Lily doesn't agree that the Civil War was worth it.
Oh,
Welcome
no.
to the show.
Did I say nature? I meant butterfly. The butterfly is no doubt one of God's most beautiful creations. Does it empty your mind? You learn martial arts!
The sad thing is that's your footprint, your digital footprint. For
Yeah.
the rest of your life.
So
That's
It really
very
only got
unfortunate.
2.7 stars.
from Google reviews,
Which is such a bummer.
People said it was really good.
It's just not what they expected.
Yeah, the trailer, I feel like they said that it was like just misleading of like what it was. And
Because it was more of a teaser instead of much. I guess I never saw the full trailer trying to explain the storyline of it, because it's apparently about the importance of photojournalism within a civil war.
yeah,
And it's like,
Within
well,
a Civil War, not the Civil War.
the
America?
future Civil War that's going to happen.
In
yeah,
America?
Hopefully not.
hypothetical. Yeah.
No, it's going to happen.
No, I'm saying like they weren't basing it off of like, they're just like, the story was there's a civil war happening.
No, they're basing it off of future events.
So,
Okay.
So
Sure.
the original Civil War was North versus South. What's the next Civil War? I think it's East and West.
I mean, those would be the other two options if you weren't allowed to do North and South anymore. I mean, you only have two other. Let's
see, if
think
you
here.
do like a
Northeast, Southwest,
Southwest, yeah.
Arizona versus Seattle.
Do you
No,
think
that
Kansas,
would be no.
Is Kansas with us?
Kansas is
base.
Man, yeah, we should break that up. Like maybe get a map or something. But yeah, I think Kansas would be with. There definitely ain't with the Yankees. Those
Yeah.
yuppies.
I definitely want to see the movie though. I heard from people that watched it that the gunshots in it, the director specifically wanted to make the gunshots scare you, like the sound of it.
Oh.
So because usually with movies they put like there's some type of dubbing they put over sound effects like for gunshots that don't trigger people so they can stay focused on the storyline. But apparently they use as authentic as gunshots as they can possibly use just to invoke fear, which sounds super healthy.
What if the gunshot, like the sounds that they use are like, ah! You're just like, oh my gosh.
We authentically wanted people screaming too, so we went in their house, recorded their screams.
Or just Eric Andre saying, nightmare, nightmare, nightmare.
Yeah. Let me hear it.
Oh, guys, it's been a wild couple weeks.
Absolutely. Hey, what's this little guy over here?
Oh, yeah, we got a fan who is an amazing 3D art printer artist, made us some stuff. So he made Andy the robot panda.
Yeah. You got Andrew a little surfboard.
Wrote us a note. Patrick.
Thanks, Patrick.
Patrick, maybe the knife from Dune.
Sick.
And I played Chip and Shadow.
Chip and Shadow.
That's so sick.
By that blade.
And then he made you this. It's kind of like a little puzzle thing, but not really.
Open.
Show it on the screen. What it is.
It says nab on it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Open it up.
What do you think's inside? Don't open. What do you think what's inside? If you don't get it right, you don't get it.
A live animal.
Okay, open it.
A hippo card.
How thoughtful.
Do they live in St. Augustine? How did they get this?
I don't know.
Bought it online, I imagine.
Oh my gosh, thank you. What
Isn't
a
that sick
gift.
though? I mean, he 3D printed that whole thing.
This thing too?
Yeah, the whole thing.
No way. What? That's talent. What's his name?
Patrick.
Does he have a shop?
He didn't leave any of his.
Patrick, is this a hobby or do you do this for a living?
We'll wait.
If he does have
Would you sit here?
if he has an Instagram
This
or
is
something,
so
we'll
cool.
tag it in the video.
Super cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Thank you so much. We also got sent some really cool discs.
Oh,
Dude.
that's sharp.
What are you
Did you really just do that?
Yeah. Okay, Josh. Very funny. Josh?
Yeah, that was sharp. Cool.
We had Marsh Clothing.
Oh, yeah.
Marshwear.
Yeah, dude.
Sent us a huge box of just a bunch of their swag. We really appreciate
outdoor
that
wear
too.
and stuff.
Dude, I've been catching fish in it.
Dudes
Yeah.
are dope.
Appreciate it.
I didn't realize until they had sent us stuff that they had a ladies line. And let me tell you, I've been wearing those overalls basically every day that they sent me.
Yeah.
Ladies
And
line.
Every woman I encounter, they say, "Where did you get that? Can I have a pair?"
That's funny. Those were cool overalls. I'll have to get some for Kels. That's
My
really
utility overalls.
Coveralls.
Hey, real quick, does her mic sound like quieter to you? I don't think it's just you.
Speak.
Speak.
Sit.
Sit.
Good job.
Shake.
Good, Lily.
Yeah, we were in Nashville.
Nash.
What's the
other name for it?
Nash Vegas.
Nash Vegas.
Yeah. 615 till I die.
Yeah.
Nash Vegas.
It was so fun.
Nash Vegas.
We spent
good time.
72 hours in Nashville.
Yeah.
And we filmed 2 podcasts, and we were on the road for like 22 of those hours.
Yeah.
Feels like, yeah.
Dude, the
Man.
amount of stuff we've done in the last couple of weeks is actually insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got invited out by
Let's talk
Andrew.
about Nashville real quick.
Okay, yeah, Nashville.
Yeah.
That was dope.
Dusty
was the coolest dude ever.
Legit.
Like, just very genuine.
Exactly
nice.
who you think Dusty Slay is, even nicer and even funnier.
Because
Yeah.
that's what you're always scared of when you meet somebody who has any sort of fame. You're like, are they going to be the character or are they going to be a weirdo? He was
Because like us, like we're super rude outside of this.
Yeah, very rude.
Like I don't like no eye contact. I spill like I keep
look away from me.
If anyone does, I always carry hot coffee to throw in their face.
Yeah.
Understandably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he, I guess he's better than us. He was just down to chill.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
And then obviously hanging out with Nate and Luke from Blurry.
The sequel.
Our buddies. We're buddies now.
Dude, they're so fun.
Yeah.
They're absolutely so fun. I got Luke texted me over the weekend and just like asked me for feet pics. And I was like, this is so funny.
Yeah,
dude.
I'm actually excited about the conversation we had though about doing an EP.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make that a thing.
Yeah.
A conspiracy Christmas would be
Yeah.
a blast.
Yeah. We'll get on it.
I loved watching that episode back in particular because it just felt like you guys were so giddy to be around each other.
Yeah.
We were.
man.
We were so
Paige
nervous.
said-
We were so nervous with Dusty because
Yeah.
we had him first thing in the morning, and so
Yeah.
like as soon as we got done with the interview there, we were just such like there was like the relief was like okay cool now we know who we're hanging out with next.
Paige roasted us. She was watching it. She was like, "It's good." She was like, "But I feel like I'm watching a first date."
Oh, with Dusty?
Yeah.
We were like, just all giddy and stuff.
tell me about yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm just mad that he hasn't called.
Yeah. No, I was
for a second one.
I was super off. They say I wasn't, but I felt super off that podcast because I was like, first thing in the morning after a freaking longest drive ever, and like, I'm super like scheduled, right? So like, Dusty's getting here at 10, so I'm gonna go get him coffee at 9:30, and as I was leaving the Airbnb, and he's like, he's 10 minutes away. I'm like, ah! It just threw me off. But
And just being in a different space completely changes everything. I saw someone in the comments on the Dusty episode. They were talking about me not talking much, and I was just like, there are cameras plugged into outlets that I have no idea if they're gonna hold.
Yeah.
It just like messes with your head for sure.
And for the blurry episode, I didn't understand anything they were saying, so I was just trying to poke a joke in every now and then. Bro, like this is so heavy.
I literally, like, while I was editing, I was like, I haven't cut to Andy in so long.
Because I'm just.
dude, it was a blast.
Absolutely.
Those guys are
Yeah.
so. Blurry guys are just. They're a different
genuine.
breed, man.
Yeah, they're cool.
And they love Jesus like to their core, and
Yeah.
they will defend it till the day they die. I love it.
I loved something that Nate said on that episode, just talking about because, I was wondering with Josh, like maybe it's just our bubble of believers that right now it feels like there's kind of just this renaissance in Christianity where like people are waking up to like the impact of the spiritual realm and attacks and stuff like that. And what Nate was saying was like, yes, that's valid and that's important, but don't negate science and like explanation and this and that. Like we can over spiritualize situations and say, oh, this is an attack, when really it could just be circumstance, which we have the ability to change.
Yeah,
you know?
and sometimes it's self-inflicted.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of times
Yeah.
we're just like, God, why are you doing this? It's like it seems like you put yourself in this situation because of these decisions.
I know, yeah.
So
Yeah, it happens all the time. You're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
accountability.
Yeah.
it's like, God, who's at fault? And it's like just a mirror.
But then when we got back,
Because we came back on Wednesday. And then a week later on Wednesday.
yeah, we got Flagrant Podcast. Andrew Scholes, they shouted us out, and we're like, oh, that's cool. So we messaged him because he follows us on Instagram. And we're like, hey, can we send you some merch and stuff? And he's like, yeah, but long story short, he's like, come to my show tomorrow night in Jacksonville. So we're like, cool. So we
Calling all
went.
our babysitters.
Yeah. So we went backstage, fully expecting just to be like, hey, good to
Real
meet you,
quick
man.
meet and greet kind of thing.
That his whole crew, they're just so nice,
So
and
cool.
like we ended up talking for like almost 2 hours. It felt
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
And it was
yeah.
Their hospitality and generosity, like with just like free tickets, us going out there, like
Yeah.
just giving us like after his huge show, they've been on tour. Then I'm like, and then they're just like, yeah, let's talk for hours afterwards. Like, what are you doing?
He gave us sushi.
yeah. But the coolest conversations. It was just super fun and a bunch of dope dudes.
The fact that you guys figured out that you had the same soccer coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah.
Not me and
then-
Andrew, me and Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Kelsey, just my wife, cracking Andrew Schultz up, the like famous comedian. I was like, this is the best day of my life.
Because she's the
This is so
funniest
funny.
woman in the world.
Yeah,
She
She's
is.
so genuine.
She's like, like, what'd you say? Like, she asked, were those stories all true? And it's like right after her stand-up special, it's like, no, that's just comedy. That's what it is. We're telling jokes.
Dude, that thing, my neck still hurts from stabbing myself. Is there a mark? Like in here?
I don't see it. It's a little
Not
red, I
here.
think. No, not here. Right there.
I told Kelsey in the car on the way back, I said, Kelsey, you were the funniest girl in the room.
I know. I was so proud of her.
And she said, I don't know why I wasn't cracking jokes or anything.
I can't remember what. There was a moment where she said something, and I like literally cracked Andrew up, and I looked over you, and I'm just like, what is happening right now? Like, what is my life?
I think the funniest line, I can't remember what it was about, but it was like something like that happens. It's like pretty well known, like a circumstance of like that's negative.
Yeah.
She goes, what? How do you feel about that? That's just and everybody's like, oh, he's terrible.
Yeah. That's so funny.
It's so funny.
That was a good
We also
time.
got to address my face. Because
Okay.
people are going to be like, why'd you shave your beard?
It's been 87 episodes. I've been waiting for you to address your face for a long time. Man.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, what is up with that face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm dying, everyone.
He's not.
No, I got skin cancer removed off my top lip.
Cancer survivor. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what did the doc say to you? Because you were worried.
First off, it was 5 hours we were there.
Yeah.
So they have to bring you in, they cut it out, which cutting it out takes, I don't know, 30 seconds. But then they have to test it, make sure like all the cancer's gone.
Yeah.
And then, which takes an hour.
Did they scan you again, or did they?
No, they test.
Or they test the thing.
Yeah.
Literally the flap of skin.
They have to freeze it, and then break it apart and look at under like a microscope or whatever
to make sure all the pieces are there or whatever. Like
all the cancer is like. So if top of it had cancer on it, they'd have to come back and. So that's what they had to do. I had to get it cut twice. So we were there for like 5 hours, and it hurt like a mamma mia.
Yeah.
But we had amazing conversations with all these old dudes that were in the waiting room.
Yeah.
First off, he's like, why are you here? He's like, you're too young to be here. I'm like, yeah, my wife made me come. But the conversations were hilarious.
Can I tell you about them? Okay.
Yeah.
These men were in their 70s and 90s. Ian.
Yeah, 90. He's turning 94 this year.
That's awesome.
His name is Bill. The other guy was Jim.
Bill and Jim.
Bill, the 94-year-old.
Yeah.
He was telling when he was born during the Great Depression. Jesus. And his mother was 20 and his father was 70.
And he was saying it was just because women needed a marriage for security and for shelter.
Dude, what a crazy world they used to live in.
He said his father was born the day after Abraham Lincoln was assassinated.
And he said there were no paved roads.
That's great. And you're just sitting there talking with him?
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
It gets crazier.
Oh, does it?
Yes.
What?
Okay, so Bill's like, so Jim is the optimist, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a glass half full kind of guy, and just like.
Did they know each other? They're friends?
No.
Okay, cool. Okay.
And it's so funny to like set the scene. Like we're in this waiting room, it's dimly lit, and there's like some snacks and stuff because we're waiting, you know. And everyone in the room has some kind of bandage on their face, or like because they're all getting cut up, you know. And everybody's like kind of miserable to be there. But Jim, this perpetual optimist, is just bringing us together, uniting us. He obviously has some kind of like memory issue because he keeps talking about the same thing over and over again or asking the same question.
It's just test material, I think.
But he was so jovial. And then, anyway, Bill goes, you and I see life very differently. He's the pessimist.
Yeah.
He's a cynic, right? And then he's talking about, because he uses a cane now, and he's talking about, he's like, yeah, you know, I have back pain, and he's like, I was in a plane crash in World War II.
Crashed on Iwo Jima.
I crashed on Iwo Jima.
Bill or Jim?
Bill. The 94-year-old.
Okay, all right. I'm getting why he's a pessimist. Yeah.
But so me and my dad did the math.
Yeah.
If he's 94, that means he would have fought in World War II when he was 16 years old.
Dude. Oh.
Yeah.
He crashed.
Imagine.
And he said there were like 6 survivors, right? And then was he a POW?
I don't know if he said so.
But anyway, he crashed on. I thought he said Okinawa, but you keep saying he crashed on Iwo Jima. But anyway, his storytelling was superb. Like you guys would have died. He goes, so I was dealing with this back pain chronically ever since that plane crash.
He broke his back.
And he goes, and then I was in Japan, and I went to visit a what they called at the time.
He wasn't.
He was in the Swiss.
He went back to Europe. Like he was brought to Europe. I think to Germany.
And he said,
No, it wasn't Germany because it was World War II. So it would have been in Switzerland.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And he goes, and I just, someone told me about something like chiropractic or something like that. And he's like, I went to go visit. And he said, and the experience was so crazy, I couldn't wait to get back to the States to study chiropractic. And then he was a practicing chiropractor for 20 years after that because of his plane crash. And then he told this terrible story. He said one day he's, in his 70s at this point, and he's working at his chiropractic office, and this woman comes in, and it was workers' comp. She got hurt at work with her back, right?
Not work. She had what's it called?
No.
Get injured.
It was an injury at work.
Oh, okay.
And she came in, and he said that he was cracking her back, and then she came in again, and she said, I filed for disability. And he said, how'd you hurt your back lifting your lunch pail? Because she was overweight, he said.
Oh, my goodness.
And then he goes, and then he's like, it dawned on me.
Jeez.
He said, I'm a 70-year-old war vet, and I could have disability.
Like file for disability.
I could file for disability.
Yeah.
And that day he did it, and then he didn't have to work ever again, right? In his 70s.
But he was just.
Oh my goodness.
His storytelling was amazing, though.
Funny guy.
Super funny guy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was great. And Josh is like, we should go get the bagels because everyone was starving. So
oh yeah, because they had like Nutrigram bars, and these dudes have been waiting there for 5+
what are we
hours.
doing?
I know.
Can we not take better care?
Yeah, so
we're
we
veterans.
I know.
We went and got bagels, and they're stoked about them.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Good for you guys. That's such a fun thing. You hope to be that type of guy when you get older,
I
right?
know.
Like you have that type of attitude and positive outlook. And I was like, I've met so many grumpy old men in my life. I'm like, I just don't want to be that.
But they became such best friends. Jim
That's
and
cool.
Bill. Bill
Yeah.
goes, he calls his wife. He keeps talking about how smoking hot his wife is. She's 20 years younger than he is. And he goes, babe, you gotta come back here. I want you to meet somebody. And it's Jim. He wanted him to meet Jim.
That's so fun.
But yeah, when the guy was stitching up my face,
Yeah.
he said, "Just tell your wife you're gonna look like a young Joaquin Phoenix." I'm like, "What?"
How you joking about that?
He's like, "No, I'm kidding. It won't be that bad." I'm like,
No, I'm kidding. You're not that good looking.
God.
What? Come on, man.
It's just
but
such a weird thought to plan before the procedure.
I know.
Yeah. But speaking of Joaquin Phoenix,
Okay.
let's talk about things that have happened after the eclipse and even during the eclipse.
Okay.
This was multiple videos of these people from in the path of totality or whatever. These like elongated dark things in the sky were just going, and they're like, "Yo, what is that? What is that? What is that?" Crazy stuff.
Okay.
And then other people were seeing like the just weird things in the sky, like meteors falling and like really, really weird stuff. That's like not being talked about.
Yeah.
But then something happened. Well, let me say this. On the day of the eclipse, our most eastern tsunami buoy that
Like
warns
radar,
us,
right?
yeah, that's off the east coast.
They're anchored, and so thousands of feet. They have an anchor point, so we can precisely see what's going on out there.
Yeah, it's like our one buoy for the east coast of the United States.
All the surf forecasting I use runs off of these buoys.
It was turned off during the eclipse.
Wow.
And I don't know if it's turned back on at this point, but the day after the eclipse, there was this mass, no one knows what it is, this mass wave water movement that came from Antarctica that was the size of Texas.
What?
And it was reported on, so it's a live streaming wave, wind, weather forecasting thing called Ventu Sky. And this thing, it was this blob. Andrew, do you think you can pull up that picture? Actually, right here. Because I looked it up.
Texas-sized.
It's a mass or it's a wave?
They don't actually know. But Ventu Sky said like, oh, it's a what do you call it? Like a glitch in the thing. I don't know if can you see that?
Yeah.
So that was April 9th, the day after the eclipse. If you hover over it, says the wave height is
83.7 feet?
Yeah.
What in the world?
You see that? Hey, stop! Stop!
What were those?
Stop!
What were those waves called? The ones that came out of nowhere. That we
Rogue
talked about?
waves?
Rogue waves. Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah.
Dude, please. This thing.
When you think about that, like think about rogue waves way before we had technology, and like seeing a rogue wave for the very first time, like it's still and then suddenly out of nowhere. It's like imagine having to tell people about
You
it.
see this?
Ooh,
Yeah.
it looks like Saruman.
So this just appeared out of nowhere. There's this lady on TikTok who has like her own radio show. And what's her name? Did I write it down? I'll put her name because you do.
I'm looking to see if I think you texted it to me. It's like coming back.
But she does like weather forecasting, like has these like screens everywhere that like are showing like where earthquakes are happening, like just all this stuff. She did a lot of research into it because she's like, this anomaly is just wild, right? But the same anomaly happened on February 22nd, March 27th, and then April 9th
Of this year.
of this year.
What's
Correct.
it doing? It's just hanging out?
It's this big blob that comes up and then it goes into the Atlantic Ocean and then just kind of like
Dissipates.
disperse. So everyone's just like, what is?
Words.
Huh?
Joe's different
You
discourse.
said disperse. I said dissipates. Synonyms.
Synonyms.
Disappointed.
But yeah, so, and she's like, what's weird is that it looks like it kind of starts at this one island above Antarctica, and this island is the most, I actually read a CIA write-up about this one island. It's the most, what's it called? Remote island in the world.
Are there people on it?
No, it's uninhabitable. But it's called, if you type in Google, it's like Bouvet Island. But then I saw a rumor, don't know the credibility of this, but we talked about one time the Russian torpedo called the Poseidon. And basically it's this weapon, it's a nuclear weapon, it's a torpedo that supposedly it can create a 1,000-foot tsunami that's just filled with radioactive material.
Why are we doing this?
But supposedly, this past week of the eclipse, they tested it and it worked. And so, but if you look at the thing, this Bouvet Island, this mass just appears right in front of this island. And then I'm like, well, where are because it's like right above Antarctica. I'm like, where are the Russian lab, what do you call them? Just where are the Russian labs in Antarctica?
Bouvet.
And it's directly south of Bouvet. Like, I mean, like straight shot south.
So they shot it at Bouvet.
Or they went to Bouvet to shoot it out.
I didn't realize. So.
And this is all speculation.
Yeah.
Like, but
So you can do a little nuclear, not in the world.
What?
I always thought if a nuclear bomb went off, it was like going to be catastrophic for the entire planet.
No, we did tests like all throughout the 50s and 60s.
So you could do a little nuclear.
No, you can do big ones. You just like the thing that would be catastrophic is if we went to nuclear war. Because then we're talking about thousands of nukes going off basically at the same time.
Fair.
And also, like, what's the fallout actually do? Like, people still don't know to, like, fish in, like, those habitats, like, what's going on. But, like, the Pacific, they were blowing islands up.
Yeah, like literally. It's a really weird thing, and some people are like, it's an underwater alien thing that's starting to come out from Antarctica, like from underneath and stuff.
The craziest part of the story to me, though, is you were telling me, and I was like, well, I saw a thing that was like, well, wouldn't, like, our, wave height stuff start going off? And that's when you looked up that buoy, and you were like, it's off.
Yeah.
And so, like, we were trying to, like, disprove what we were finding, and it's like, okay, that's weird.
But even then, I don't know what's going to happen from now to next week when this comes out. But all these reports were saying the East Coast were going to get heavy flooding from the ocean, like a big ocean surge.
Yeah.
So, like...
And if that thing's off, then there's no way of predicting it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like, I'm sure there's other ways.
Yeah, but not a giant tsunami.
Yeah.
Full of radioactivity. Don't go swimming, guys.
Yeah. They're saying that if it, like, so it could be this big. This is all from articles I've read. This Poseidon tsunami that they could create could literally just cover the entire of the UK.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
What a loss.
Dang.
I know that wasn't sarcastic, but it sounded like, oh, what a loss.
The UK is going to be the next Atlantis.
And then we'll just all choose to forget about it, like it didn't actually happen. It's just a myth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be like, folklore about it. Did you know that their cookies were called biscuits?
Okay, now you're just making
now that's
stuff
a little
up.
far-fetched.
You're just a conspiracy theorist.
They call their fries chips.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Obviously, they were a little backwards.
But yeah, who knows what it is? I don't know. But just weird stuff has happened since the eclipse. But maybe weird stuff's happening all the time, and it's just like coinciding. But
like we said with the Dusty Pod, it's like maybe it's a sign.
Yeah.
Because everyone was like, hey guys, after the there were some people commenting saying, hey, address, because you built up all this fear or this speculation and stuff like that, and then nothing happened. And it's like, that's not what we're saying.
Also,
like,
hold the phone.
Yeah.
Because with the eclipse that we were talking about in the 1800s, stuff didn't happen for months.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, this is a comedy show. We're just talking about baloney. We're talking about baloney stuff we have no control over.
Yeah, and then the floods that are happening in Dubai right now. You see that?
No.
Bro.
I have thoughts on that.
With the cloud seeding stuff?
Yeah, because they released a bunch of information about like, yeah, this is what we're doing. And they were like celebrating what they were able to do. And if people were like applauding those efforts and someone's like, well, let's just like really do it.
Well, I saw a thing that that's actually taken storm.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Of like people saying like, oh, because you guys were talking about cloud seeding. So like you guys caused this. So like, no. We did the cloud seeding on a Monday or a Sunday and a Monday. But the storms didn't happen until Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they're like, well, it usually rains like 30 minutes an hour after we cloud seed. But I'm just like,
I mean, have you seen a 6th grade like weather like science book? It's like moisture is cyclical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it compounds.
But they're saying that the amount of rain that they have had within 2 or 3 days is equivalent to what they get in 2 years.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So I mean, just flooded.
You know what'd be sick though is if it turned into a jungle. Well, what?
Well, the desert, they're starting to. There's like grass growing out all around there.
Okay, so
That's
what?
also prophecy. That the deserts will turn green with grass and stuff.
You guys.
Dude,
Deserts to meadows or something like that.
speaking of green though, like the way the sky turned green, like I saw a video. It's like, wait, like look what the sky in Dubai after it starts raining, how green it turns, and it just was like a time lapse. And I'm like, okay, it's getting a little green. There's a little greenish hue, and then suddenly it's like Matrix green.
Whoa.
Like just bright green, and I'm like, and people are like, it's normal, like whatever. It's like that's not normal.
No.
I'm like, people are like, yeah, it's not cloud seeding, guys. Don't be dumb. I'm like, it could be whatever.
I'm just.
How about
messing with
stop messing with the weather?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like if you mess with the weather, and you can't be surprised when like weird weather things happen.
I'll play devil's advocate because maybe if we weren't messing with the weather, maybe we don't know this, but we would be like an eternal famine or something like that. Maybe we don't know why we're doing it, and there is like a positive purpose for it.
I'm pretty smart. I would know.
I just developed a conspiracy theory right now.
Hit me.
Okay. You know Dylan Page, this guy?
Yes, sir.
From TikTok?
Very great.
This guy?
He's awesome.
Yeah, you love him.
I saw a video from him today saying, like, if you're saying that the Dubai floods were caused from rain seeding or cloud seeding, he's like, you're wrong because this is why. But then he lists information that I've never heard in my life, right?
What do you mean?
So he's like, and here's the facts. So we started experimenting with cloud seeding in the U.S. in the 1940s.
Yeah, we did. We knew it. We so knew it.
We did know it. You're right.
Oh, 1940s?
I love you, babe. So, come here. No, but then he broke it down of like, they used to use it during war.
Yeah.
For blanketing radar systems, and then he said that the Beijing Olympics, they did it too to push weather away. And I'm like, okay, where are you getting this information? But then I remember I was watching this thing last week or 2 weeks ago. He was invited to Texas to attend it was basically like I don't want to speak of like what it wasn't, but it was basically like a NATO-funded journalist conference.
He's been
where he sat in seminars.
Interesting.
He's been
and I'm like, so is he? Are they? Sorry, Dylan, if you're not in.
We need to get Dylan on the.
But I'm telling you, like, how weird that he has that information, which you research cloud seeding, chemtrails, all that stuff. You can't find anything.
Mm-hmm.
But he listed off like 10 things.
Yeah.
The week after, he was at this journalist, like, this is what we want to talk about. Mm-hmm. This is what news should be. This is what journalism should be.
Also, why are we talking about what news and journalism should be?
Control, baby. Control,
dude, that's
baby.
the thing. I mean, we look at that guy. Yeah, gotta control, baby.
I love you, babe.
I'm so glad I married you.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh my gosh.
But that's the thing. Like we talked about that TikToker that was like that was reached out by a political party, saying we're gonna pay you $50,000. It's like we have to be so careful.
Yeah,
you talk
of
about
not being influenced on purpose. Like there's a difference between like us consuming our content in our own leisure and our own will, but then you have people who are literally trying to influence you on purpose because of your platform.
Let's talk about how the CIA has done all these. They have just done so much craziness of like informatives and misinformation. They coined the term conspiracy theorists, right?
Yeah.
And like MK Ultra, infiltrating news outlets, all this stuff. Why can't they use now, which is the most popular thing, social media?
The most influential thing.
In fact, Dylan Page was rated the #1 source of news for TikTok over CNN, ABC, MSN, like all these things.
Yeah.
Fox News. And so it's like,
Dylan, say it ain't so.
Say it
We
ain't
love
so,
you, Dylan.
Don't let it get you, Dylan. Come on.
Dylan might not even be in there anymore, guys.
Listen, your last name may be Page, but they read you like a buck.
Come on. I love you, man.
I love you. Oh, wait. No.
No, Andy's brought up the $50,000 number like quite a few times. I'm starting to think he's asking.
Yeah, that's his number.
First of all, I'm a lot cheaper than that.
He's like, it was $50,000, right? Like, that's what you guys pay for.
You give me $100 Jimmy John's gift card, I will talk about anything you want.
bro, I'm telling you though, there's something weird about it.
Yeah, that is weird. That's weird.
I'm just,
you look historically at the amount of like wars and things in other nations, and you can call it a government overthrow. We call it aid to other nations. And I'm not going to throw nations' names out there, but it's very clear that we play with, the global political climate. And so why would we assume or even believe that they're not at least doing something
yeah, dude.
within our same?
No, you're so right. And I'm just on this whole thing like, okay, so I had an ear infection, right? And I had to go to the ER because I was being a baby about it. And the nurse I was talking to, my mom, he was like, what do you do for work? I said, I'm a stay-at-home mom. And my mom goes, oh, she's on a podcast, it's a conspiracy podcast. And then he gave me this antibiotic, which I've seen a conspiracy about. There's a conspiracy that is paralyzing women, right? And I said, hey, isn't that the antibiotic that's paralyzing women? He said, no, that's a conspiracy. I said, well, I'm a conspiracy theorist.
well, I'm a professional conspiracy
So absolutely.
And
Can
he goes,
can we claim that? I think we can.
Yeah.
Are we?
Oh, definitely.
You guys create some original conspiracies, but mostly I'm just adopting all of the other ones. And anyway, he goes, that's not a healthy thing to do, to believe in conspiracies. And I'm just like, bro,
Hold the phone.
hold the phone.
It's called free thinking,
But
right?
also-
and analyzing what's happening around you.
How many times have we been betrayed?
I haven't said it in forever, but what is the essence of conspiracy?
Hey, there it is.
Everybody take a shot!
Finish your first form. But that's the thing. It's like, just like, we have to be able to talk about these things. I love talking about things that could never exist ever because it's interesting and it's funny. But it's like, you make your own decision. But for you to never believe to any, like, people that don't believe in one conspiracy theory, I'm like, you're nutso, dude.
Think about how fast information gets out there now. Like, it used to be information was pooled, news network would put it out there, but now information is traded so quickly that we, the people, have time to have these conversations.
That's why they want to get rid of TikTok.
And the imagination to come up. But
that doesn't mean everything's right. It just means we have the chance to come up with our own individual thoughts.
And I saw Mom talking about it the other day because she's like, when you go to the doctor's appointment and they recommend something, question it, like for your child, because 50 years ago, forced lobotomies were a thing.
Yeah.
People were getting their brains knocked in as a medical procedure.
Getting your brain knocked in.
Ask questions. Don't be a sheeple.
But not to take a dark turn, but my dog, we took her in because she was having health issues, and they said she needs these medicines. She needs to get this full run of vaccines, and she developed a cough out of nowhere. And I started diving into all the medicines they said were normal, and it was literally linked to so many cases of liver failure.
Oh no.
So it's just like, not to be an anti-vaxxer, but that's literally like case study after case study after case study. So yeah, they push the medicine that they're given to push.
And now Andrew's going to go full John Wick.
Dude.
Veterinary clinic.
You have every right.
Dude.
There's a couple.
What are you going to say about TikTok?
Well, that they have that new bill out, but apparently it's a part of, like, I can't remember the name of the bill. It's like it's a big word, a bill, but it's a war funding bill. But they're putting in the TikTok thing as like one of those, like,
They
everything
did
good,
that.
and that's how it's working. And apparently, the Pearl Mania, the redheaded guy that always rants on TikTok, super, like, he legit, he does his research and stuff, and he's talking about how it's like, we've said it before that this is, TikTok's gonna get banned, but he's like pretty sure this is the one that does it because everything they want to fund is on that bill. But then they're like, oh yeah, we just add at the end, oh, TikTok also is not gonna be available anymore.
So you wish we were honest,
Like, how is it even legal to have a contract speaking of like one specific thing
and a very separate thing?
Yeah, just completely divorced from the actual issue that anyone's voting on. And then, like, I think that plays in politics down the road, because someone will get that little like addition, and then that'll be like, well, this person voted against this one thing when it was like a subline.
That's got to be
main issue.
That's got to be because there's so many deals that people are making behind the scenes where it's like you can't like so the past one thing. So like there's certain things like, hey, we'll get that in there, and it's one big deal. It's got to be like, I'm ignorant to all of the things politics, but I'm like that's got to be the way they're doing it, because it doesn't make sense, and that's why they do these like mass bills of just.
I'm not well versed in politics, and I don't feel like I fully understand it, which is concerning, right? As a U.S. citizen,
and because we're a political podcast.
It seems like lobbying needs to be banned.
For sure.
It's companies that are funding campaigns that end up getting all the laws written in their favor.
Dude, that is why we're in the situation that we're in today.
Yeah, I think so.
That's why our government has no real power. It's because the big government or the big business does.
It's just greed, man.
And that's why I'm voting for Joe Rogan.
Let's vote for Joe Rogan.
You could write him in.
You could.
What if we influenced a group of
Guys,
people to write him in?
All 50,000 of you that are consistent listeners, let's all write in Joe Rogan.
Please, Joe, save us.
And he's going to say, I didn't want this.
Save us, Mr. Rogan.
Dude, let's get Theo Vaughn to be our president.
Please.
I just saw his clip getting vulnerable about his mom. Did you guys watch that?
I've seen it, yeah.
It's really good.
Lily, why are you yell?
I'm just really excited.
I can tell.
Yeah.
The Dylan Page thing is crazy though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just making
Did you just think of that?
Just literally as we're talking.
Interesting. We need to get. I was like, that would be such a cool thing to get him on the pod.
Yeah, let's do it.
And you guys did a good job.
Be able to grill him on that, dude.
You guys did give him a good on though. It's like, we like you. We just
Yeah.
so
clear it up. Come on and clear it up. But I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to be more strategic on comedy specials that are coming out, because that's when they start doing all of their podcasts, like tours and stuff.
Tours.
And so that Joke World, every week he always says, here's the upcoming specials that are coming out. I'm like, okay, cool. So we can start being like strategic on, hey, Adam Ray, come promote your podcast on a 1 million subscribed YouTube channel.
Let's get Adam Driver on.
Yeah.
Driver? Dude, that would. And just.
Oh, you would.
She'd literally just. She'd just be like.
You're so funny.
Oh my gosh, you're so funny. She's like, I haven't said anything.
I've had a crush on Adam Driver since the girls' days.
Wow.
That's how hardcore.
Wasn't that ad fun though?
Yep.
You're also married. That was a fun ad.
Yeah.
Listen.
I'm glad Lily said that one thing and got really excited about it.
Yeah, I was glad. Yeah, it was important for her to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was fun that she got excited about it too. Oh man, wait, you know what time it is? It's president. Question corner with Lily, where the questions are fresh on her mind.
Okay, I stole this question from the uber talented Zach Woods, whose comedy we are not prepared for as a civilization.
He's so far beyond whatever we could understand comedically.
The amount of intelligence you have to improv the way he does. I've been quoting his Tamagotchi thing. You know how he said, like, oh, my dad, he took my Tamagotchi away because I became too fretful.
Yeah.
And he had to fire his friend's dad. So funny. Anywho, he asked this on his podcast. I don't know the name of his podcast, but go listen to it because I'm sure it's amazing. Okay. If you were stuck in a library in an apocalyptic blizzard, what is the first book you would burn for warmth?
Twilight.
Dude,
Shut up!
I was gonna say any of the Twilight books.
Oh man, I'm sorry to say it, but Lord of the Rings.
All right.
I'm sorry to say it.
Hold on.
No, it has nothing. It's only because of an attachment that I have as a kid. I was given them like at 7th grade from like one of my aunt and uncles, and I looked at them and I said, "How could you not know me this much?" Like they got me the whole set. I was like, I've never shown you that I've been interested in this at all. And it's every time I look at the books, I'll still watch the movies, but the books, I would have to burn them.
No, but see, that's a beautiful thing because maybe they didn't know you, but they were gifting you something they loved. Like how I gave Jordy Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
It doesn't matter. That's for you. You did that for you, not for them.
It's true.
That's true. And also,
not a good gift.
they're big books. I would be good for a while.
Yeah.
I'd be warm for a while.
I was gonna say the whole James Patterson collection because you would be warm until the apocalypse was over.
Yeah.
Probably just encyclopedias for me.
But then you're erasing like future history and knowledge.
That's true.
They're incorrect. They have to update them. So
Andrew's like, I have them all memorized. Anyway, all the words memorized.
What would you do?
James Patterson.
Who's that?
He's like the mystery novels.
Oh.
Yeah, he puts
Political
out one
history.
like
You
every
do like
week.
the Hardy Boys. There's like 20 million of those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
dude, I read
And
them all.
what's
Really?
I used to love them.
Yeah.
What's the Nancy Drew?
Yep.
You do Nancy Drew
Oh.
and
But then they
That's
did.
good for girls finding themselves.
Do you remember the books, the kid books, when it was on the cover, it's them turning into an animal?
yeah.
Like, it was like
Oh,
4
yeah.
stages. Yeah, like, that was such a crazy series.
So
Hey,
good.
I've never read any of them, but I loved looking at the
it's
covers.
the original Skinwalker series.
Yeah, those are witches, dude.
Yeah.
I will say, as a recently full-time stay-at-home mom, we have been spending a lot of time at our local library.
Stay-at-home moms.
It's just
Sorry,
so
Jesus.
fast.
We have been spending a lot of time at our local library. Support your community. What an amazing thing
Yeah.
your local library is. What a resource. I'm pretty sure they would give their lives for you, these librarians.
Dude, there's a prankster that I follow on YouTube, and it's you just cause so much unnecessary stress on people who are just trying to live their lives. But I can't. I just think it's the funniest thing. He walks into public libraries and like universities, and he brings in his own fire alarm like
No.
Oh,
that he
yeah.
sticks onto the wall.
That's illegal.
and
No,
he
it's
just
not, 'cause it's his.
Because it's just a fake.
It's like a
one.
sticker.
It's a decoy. It's an actual
It's
thing.
illegal to even shout fire in a building.
I know,
Yeah.
but all he does is he goes up and he literally just goes. He goes up to people and goes, "I'm gonna pull that lever," and then people physically try to stop him, and he doesn't. Like he's like licking it and stuff like that, and he literally like the police get called every single time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that I don't know why that's so funny.
Oh, but he
to me.
doesn't actually pull it. Like
No,
nobody. Oh,
and it's a fake one, so it's like he puts it on the wall. There's no real fire
I
alarm.
see.
I'm gonna pull that.
I thought it made a noise though.
No, not at
no.
all. It literally is just a fake
It's
one.
just like a piece of plastic.
Oh, that's
so he-
that like has adhesive. He sticks it to the wall.
That's funny.
And so the police always get other people in trouble because the people either like beat him up or choke him or stop him, and he's like, it's fake, and then like so he gets off scot-free every time.
Dude, you know how there's like the little white lever in a red box, like the tiny little
Yeah.
thing that you can grab? Apparently, it's the plastic cover is actually on a lot of those is what triggers the alarm. Because in high school,
Oh,
we were
wow.
getting ready for like a huge test, and me and my buddy just weren't ready, and we were like, hey, I'm gonna pull it, you pull it. And I joked and I lifted the lid to like pretend I was going to, and just lifting the lid, the whole thing went off. It was
Oh,
like
no.
right outside the principal's
Oh, no.
office.
Did you get
My
detention?
No, my buddy bolted, and I literally stood there and just held it. And I was like, I was making a joke. It's not like I'm not running. Like I'm just owning it.
Did you see that clip? It was like the guy that was on either in a hotel or a cruise. Where he's walking down the stairs and he trips, he falls, and his hand lands on the fire alarm and pulls it down, and all the doors go like shut, and it's like, "Rrr, rrr," and it's just like he literally tripped. I was
Just
trying
like
not to hit his
complete
face. It's
accident.
like, oh, it's so funny.
So hilarious.
But you know what time it is now? Do we have a beat on there?
Oh, I didn't switch it.
Find
over.
it. Find it.
Just hit me.
Yeah. Andrew's got a reel and he's gonna show us right now.
Right now, yeah.
Right now. Right now.
Little Beastie Boys.
All right.
I can't shake it. Andrew's got a reel and
That's the song.
You can use the volume. I'll bleep it.
Cussing. Hopefully it's nothing about plutonium again.
Apparently, this is a thing.
Hey, who hit play?
I'm sorry.
Dude.
Oh my
I forgot the
god.
protocol.
It's been 87 episodes, Lil.
I know, but it's been like 4 weeks since we filmed.
Listen, Toots. I love you, babe. Let's watch this. All right,
3, 2, 1.
Hey, this is the fighter challenge, Eddie.
Steve Eddie's.
Why you doing? Oh no, dude! See, that's why
So
alcohol's bad.
apparently-
you don't do stuff like that, man.
Apparently, that's a thing. We saw that one video. Is the only other place I've seen it, but now they're calling it a challenge. So
No.
I don't commend it. I don't condone it, commend it,
Dispense
condone
it. Dispense.
Dispense it. Yeah, it's disperse it. I don't disperse it.
But that does stop my scroll.
Yeah,
Can
that was
Can I send you guys one thing?
yes.
Just one thing. That's all I want. I'm sending it to the Ninja Clan. Oh, but it's on Reddit, so just click on it and send it. But it scared me so much because it's apparently a colugo, a gliding mammal from sea, and this is how it poops.
Yeah, right.
It's so gross.
A gliding mammal from the sea?
From sea. I don't know what that means. SEA.
Bro, but same.
That's their equivalent of taking off your pants to poop.
Taking off your shirt and everything. You're just like
full naked.
It's one of those.
Oh man, I gotta breathe through
sweating, you're just grabbing onto like whatever you can.
Just manually breathing.
Same.
I wish I could.
gosh.
I wish I could do that. Just lift over myself so it just all ones.
Why are you jumping like that? Do you ever just like?
Reminds me of John Lennon's butt.
Yeah, dude, that's wild. That's so wild. Him next to what's her face?
Yeah, Yoko Ono. I just never thought I would see that picture on. Like, I'm just scrolling on Instagram, and then there's.
What are you looking at?
That's his face.
You said C?
It says from sea, like, but it was all capital SEA. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's like a
Southeast Asia.
Yeah, that's probably. I figured there was an acronym or something, but
From C.
from sea.
This thing is from C.
See?
Like the ocean? No.
Yes,
no.
sea.
Wait, are you Spanish?
I think they fly.
Yeah, that's like a bat, right? It's a gliding.
They're close relatives to bats.
It says gliding mammal. So it's one of like one of those gliders. Hey, glide.
It says today, on account of genetic data, they are considered to be more closely related to primates, so they're probably intelligent.
I doubt it.
They're the ones that created tax evasions. This species.
Speaking of tax evasion, you want to hear about one of potentially the greatest imposters of human history?
Please.
Okay.
I would love that.
This is a wild thing. I first heard about it from a TikTok called The Rabbit Hole, but then I found the book and read it, or read some of it. It's pretty long.
We assumed.
But are you ready?
Your batter vibes.
This is the story of how potentially Queen Elizabeth I, back in the 1500s, 1600s,
Lizzie OG.
was actually a man and not Queen Elizabeth.
I don't believe it.
What?
This book was written by Bram Stoker, and he's the author of Dracula. He came out with a book called Famous Imposters, and his last chapter is called The Bisley Boy. So I'm gonna bear with me because there's a lot of notes on this. So, Queen Elizabeth I, her father was King Henry the...
15.
What was he?
Henry VIII, right? Because he can only make girls.
Is that it? Probably. Is he the one that... Is he that guy?
That guy.
Okay, yeah. So that was him. King Henry VIII. So Elizabeth was his daughter.
He was out decapitating all these women.
Mm-hmm. Sure was.
9 wives, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he had like crippling syphilis.
How are you guys knowing all these things that I don't know one thing about this guy?
So when she was 9 years old, Elizabeth, she was sent off to a town called Bisley from London because there's a plague going on and they like wanted to protect the royal bloodline and stuff.
Attack the girl.
And so she went and lived with Sir Thomas Parry and Lady Cat Ashley. They were her providers, protectors, whatever. And
Cool
then
name.
King Henry, it was in my notes. He hadn't seen her for many years. And so he was out on a hunting trip close to Bisley. So he's like, I'm going to go visit my daughter. On his way there, Queen Elizabeth got sick, had a crazy fever, and died. Again, this is all...
This is theory.
From the book. This is from the book.
This is from the book, and
Okay,
it's all
so, yeah.
theorized because he actually took a lot. He found old letters and notes from the 1500s talking about parameters around like what this story is.
Yeah.
So this has been a theory since Queen Elizabeth Queen Elizabeth I, so like 1600s. So he just documented it basically, like compiled it all, like we do on the podcast.
Yeah.
So she died, and then Lady Cat was like, crap, King Henry VIII obviously had a very bad temper, and if it comes and sees that his daughter is dead, they're done, right?
Yeah.
So she goes out into the village. She's looking for a girl that looks close to Queen Elizabeth. Can't find any girl. But Queen Elizabeth's friend was red hair. They said a very pretty boy. And he was 9, or he had to have been like maybe 10, whatever. I don't know how old he was. So they dressed him up like Queen Elizabeth, like in her clothes. And then King Henry VIII got there, met them, all that stuff. Like, there's no suspicion of that's not his daughter.
Wow.
And then they just kept this ruse up. Like,
this dad just does not pay attention to his children. This is just neglected children.
And he's
she's alive? Cool. Perfect.
Are you acting weird? And it's like, oh, well, Dad, you don't know.
If I have this right, I think his mom, or Queen Elizabeth's mom, was killed or beheaded while she was staying in Bisley too.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Because she couldn't produce a male heir and stuff.
This was like powder makeup and wig era.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
So,
lead makeup.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm getting to it.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Nice.
So they continue to tell the lie to everyone that, oh yeah, this is little Elizabeth and stuff. And she was the third in line for the crown. So there's 2 more in the royal family that were before her to get the crown. Then King Henry VIII died. Let me see, where are my notes? Sorry about this. And then his son Edward became king, but he died at the age of 15 without producing an heir.
I thought he never had a son.
He did, yeah. He ended up having a son.
Oh.
Yeah, he ended up having a son after however many wives and stuff. That was a 9.
I think it was.
It was quite a few.
But he died at 15, and so he had no heirs, and then that made Elizabeth the rightful ruler. But Elizabeth's sister, was it sister or cousin? Terrible that I didn't write this down.
Was Mary Queen of Scots?
Mary.
Yeah.
Mary was suspicious of...
Her gender?
No. Of her, she didn't want her to have the crown.
Right.
So she imprisoned Elizabeth under pretenses of treason, right? So she remained in the London Tower, wherever she was at, for a couple of years, but then all charges were dropped, and then Elizabeth became queen.
And Mary Queen of Scots got.
Supposedly Elizabeth.
Yeah.
But this whole time, Sir Thomas, and Lady Cat were, like, keeping it secret.
Right.
So she became queen, and I say she, potentially the boy, became queen.
Yeah.
And if you look back, there's the people that were in the realm of Queen Elizabeth, they wrote that she had no weakness of a woman, but the mind of a man.
Yeah, they do say that. That's interesting.
And if you look back at old pictures, whenever she was in public, she would always wear a high collar.
Mm-hmm.
She would never leave her room